Welcome to Classic Comics Cavalcade. I'm Jason Sachs.
I'm Amir Malakpour.
And eventually we'll get off of Thor. I mean, we love Walt Simonson's Thor, and it's been
Hmm.
amazing, but eventually we'll get to something else. But for this week, we're going to continue on with our reading of Thor with Thor 344. But I guess we can't really call it Thor 344. It's Heimdall 344.
I know. Oh, it's Balder the Brave 344.
Excuse me, Balder the Brave 344. Silly me. Because,
Uh,
yeah, we don't even
Heim-
see Thor in costume,
yeah, Heimdall is in it. Yeah, I know you're right. He falls asleep
which I can relate
pre-coitus.
to. It's a good issue though.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
definitely something different.
I did not expect the stuff that happened in this book. I thought they're gonna happen a lot later.
Oh, I want to hear about that. So first of all, just an awesome cover, huh?
Yeah, that's a pretty cool cover.
Yeah. Hey, tell me, can you see a bar at the top of the screen when I share screen?
No, I just see the white background on the picture.
Okay. See, let's see the sharing bar. Okay, good. I'll cut that out because for on my side I see it. So I just wanted to make sure it's
I
not going to come through on
Yeah,
you.
I don't see a bar. No,
Okay. What an awesome cover.
pretty
This is one of
cool.
Walt's best covers, I think.
Brutal.
Right? The look on Balder's face and like all the demons coming at him. Just a perfect summary of the issue. Makes me desperate to read more.
Hmm.
And it starts like such a clever way too.
That's a cool page. Like it reminded me, like in the Thor movie, and I think it's the third one. Or like in that movie, there's like a wolf that fights Thor and his people.
Hmm.
This reminded me of that wolf. Of course, this wolf is a friendly wolf, but at least to us, the Asgardians, or the Asgardian followers. But it's a cool page. It's like a
Isn't it?
badass wolf.
Badass wolf with that crazy tower behind it too.
Hmm. I would venture to say that a wolf is harder to draw than a horse. And Walt Simonson does an amazing job at both.
I wonder. Yeah, why do you say that?
I don't know. I just feel like there's more to a wolf than horses. And there have been more horses drawn in history of art. that you
That's
can,
hard too to like draw a wolf that looks like a wolf, not like a dog.
yeah.
I feel like that's part of it too. It's like so many times a wolf just looks like a dog. Maybe it's the eyes.
Well, I also think the hair too. It's hard to draw the hair and everything, whereas in the horse is not as hairy.
Hmm.
It's just the wolf is just this was a cool wolf.
It's enormous too. I mean, he's as big as Balder.
Hmm.
How about those creatures in the castle?
Yeah. Those are like uh comic relief almost, even though if you see him in real life, you'd be scared to death.
Yeah, with those giant teeth and stuff. It's all just nice setup, right?
Mm-hmm.
Carnilla's got her guards there. It all makes sense. Uh, Balder's just hanging out, just doing his thing with his put on his weight, not fighting any more wars. He gets drafted essentially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't you love her headdress there in panel 4 too?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's
I'm,
awesome. They're just hanging out, I don't know, watching football or something.
yeah.
He's got
I
the
kind of
headdress
like
on.
her. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. What was that?
Yeah, go ahead.
I kind of like her. I hope she ends up being a good person. I hope they end up together.
She'll be who she is, right?
Yeah.
And the way he draws Odin too.
Mm-hmm.
I just never get over like how great Simonson is with these characters. And Frigga, she looks like she's the right age for him.
Yeah. Unlike a
And
lot of kings that like get a lot of younger wives as they get older.
yeah, she looks like she's actually earned her gray hair.
Hmm.
So I did a little bit of research. Frigga was first introduced by Roy Thomas in the original story where Balder dies.
Oh wow.
So it's kind of a nice little kind of callback in a way.
And when did he die? Was that
It
in
was
the
in the
same?
late 70s, like at 78 or so.
Interesting.
I just had it up in my browser. Let me see if I still have it up. It was like Thor 278 or something.
Hmm.
Oh, I don't have it here anymore.
Speculators get that
Thor,
Frida issue.
August 78. Balder the Brave is dead.
Oh wow, that might be an expensive issue for the speculators out there.
Great cover too. Love that cover.
That's pretty cool. That's by Buscema, I assume. Yeah.
Yeah, John Buscema and Tom Palmer.
Wow. Nice.
Good as it gets. Thomas Buscema and Palmer. That'd be worth looking at just for what it is.
Mhm.
But we're not there today.
Yeah, we're here.
We're here.
Nice.
He just draws with such elegance, Simonson.
Hmm.
Look how nice her hair goes down her body. And that look of real concern in her face in the last panel.
Hmm.
It's just such an elegant cartoonist. I like the way his eyes, he accentuates the poked out eye in the last panel here.
That's what I was thinking exactly when I read that page. I was like, that looks terrible, meaning like great.
Uh-huh.
It's like I could see like the back of his eyes. It's like, oh, but it's just black and then a little bit of dot here and there. Like, yeah, he did a great job of that.
And it's almost like he's making this terrible decision, right? He's facing Munin, who's been essentially destroyed by everything he went through, right? His magic's almost spent and everything. And he's like sad about his crow, who's been one of his servants for so many years. And you can see like the void in his face, like the pain on his face. And then the danger is even greater than I feared. And you can imagine Stan writing a lot of this stuff. And Balder protests. Oh, there we go. Thor 274 is when his death was. We got that call out. So what do you make of Odin kind of sending Balder on this mission?
It's messed up, you know? It's like, it's always kind of like, I'm sending you to the wolves because I know you could take it.
Uh-huh.
As opposed to like, and also because he's using his most virtuous son
Mm-hmm.
and throw him to like, which, as we'll find out later, I mean, Balder, at least to his own morals, is going to have to make the ultimate sacrifice of something that he's foregone for, something that he has forbid himself to do is to kill, and he's going to have to be forced to do that.
Yeah.
And just, it's almost kind of like sending your pure children out in the world for your own benefits. I've been watching this gangster TV show on Netflix called Peaky Blinders,
Okay.
and I've really been thinking about gangster stories and like how you always talk about family, but then you jeopardize your family in order to gain benefits. And I'm not saying that Odin is doing that here, because I mean obviously he wants to save the universe or whatever, but essentially he's like a gangster king, and he's sacrificing his family's purity, his son's purity, his oldest son, I think so, right? His son's purity for for the quote unquote good of the whole, but it's still like sacrifice. You're putting in danger your family.
Well, to me, the real irony is that it's a completely futile mission. It doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll find out, but supposedly he has some hope. It's he's sending out his virtuous son into, I would say, like as close as hell as possible,
Mm-hmm.
where he would be he will be corrupted. I mean, and on on small probabilities that he'd be successful. And
Yeah.
as we'll find, he won't be successful, and he'll be corrupted anyways.
Which accentuates the horror of this issue, but also the fear of what's going to happen in the future.
Hmm.
It's a really nice kind of way of raising the stakes too.
Hmm.
And he looks so lonely in that last panel as he's walking away.
Yeah.
All the whites, all the negative space but around Balder. It's like, you have to do it. I'm going to be dealing with this myself, all alone.
And the crazy thing is, he's sending him to a guy that killed him, and and the only way that he was able to come back to life is to escape it.
Mhm.
It's incredible.
We get our little tangent with Thor. It's only in 3 pages of this issue, but they're nice pages.
Yeah.
Eli's sinking her fingers into him. I was gonna say her
Very
teeth.
suggestive lips.
Yeah. Right. It's cute how he falls asleep like she falls asleep. Like that look kind of on her face on the
Well, I
fourth
think
panel
it
there.
when she says it is funny though, after all, I fell asleep on him the first time we met. What does that mean? Is that when they first hooked up and she was so bored by the lovemaking that she fell asleep, or she ignored him?
Oh, I didn't even think about that. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, probably a kids comic, so first time we met.
Yeah.
Perverted middle-aged man.
I'm
Thor sucks. He's not good in bed.
not gonna judge you. I'm not gonna judge you for saying that. She's just conveniently got a mattress lying on the floor too. Maybe she pulled it off her bed. It's a pretty thin mattress there.
I know that guy, he needs to get a bed.
Yeah.
He could
Yeah.
afford it.
He's got all the gold in the world. And then Balder, back to Balder. Gallop as the wind. Legends are true. Now the chase begins. Like he still wants to be valiant.
Mhm.
And when it comes to avoiding obstacles and stuff, he's good with that. Love the language. My faithful steed, our journey is nearly an end. It's
Mhm.
so like cleverly Shakespearean.
Mhm.
So this is like the nice high adventure part of the issue.
Yeah.
And this is really nice, I think, too, where he has to go for hours through the desolate region, finally get to the castle. Look how far away it looks in that third panel. This totally feels like myth. Mythology is popping up on the screen. Anything you want to say on this?
No, I mean, I think it's cool. I like the action. A lot of talking, but cool action. Jump over, horse.
Here we get with more of the Doom. I see. We thought for a while that Doom was going to be, yeah, like against Beta Ray Bill's ship, but pretty
Yeah.
obvious now it's going to be like Ragnarok.
Probably Ragnarok, yeah.
They'll be coming soon. The sword is tempered.
There it is.
So this is the first appearance of Malekith, as far as I could find.
Yeah, I think it is, yeah. This issue is an expensive issue, right?
I didn't look into that.
I think it is because it's when the movie came out, the one with um the last movie. Oh no, was he? Yeah, was he in this one? I don't remember. I think he has made an appearance or something.
Yeah. Right. And it became collectible. It's a nice twist for Loki to have this ally who's already kind of come through and perverted his mindset.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty tough too, that Malekith. That's a good heel turn right there.
Mm-hmm. Well, heel turn. He's already a heel.
Right. So he's just the heel, what's the word for that then? The heel appearance?
Heel confirmation. Oh no, I thought you meant Loki because Loki was already a bad guy, and then he.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah, I
wonder.
guess
I was gonna
that
ask you this. So Loki is pretty much a crummy guy in this one, right? From what I understand, and at least from the original mythology, Loki wasn't necessarily a bad guy. He was just a trickster.
right.
Has he been a trickster in the beginning and then became evil, or has he always been an evil since Jack Kirby and Stan's issues?
I think well, the very earliest issues, he was a trickster. I think I've always thought he's like more like the Joker, where he's got his own kind of agenda for things.
Hmm.
So he's not necessarily like a trickster or an evil guy as much as he's just someone who's always out for himself.
But he's a bad guy. But because I mean, for
He's a
some
bad guy,
reason,
sure, yeah.
because for some reason, I always get the idea that, like, of course, with the new TV show with Loki, and that character is turned into kind of like an anti-hero type of thing, or even a protagonist. Not even definitely a protagonist. People start to like him more. So I'm just curious if there ever
There was
was a
a
point where Loki was a good guy.
there's a lot of stuff that came out of the Jason Aaron series that made him more of a good guy. I mean, there was that short-lived Loki series where he's kind of an anti-hero also.
Hmm.
So I think it's a more modern thing for him to be like a true anti-hero. I
Hmm.
think he was always kind of playing both sides when he was in the Silver Age sort of stories.
Got it. Okay.
He's like Submariner, he's just into it in it all for himself. That's
Yeah.
how I've always read him anyway.
Or I guess the way I think of it, whatever I've seen, at least in these issues, he's kind of like Dark Side.
Well, that's a good comparison, yeah.
So, like, for example, in what was that issue where Cosmic Odyssey, in that one where Dark Side aligns with the Justice League, and then he turns on him at the end. I feel like that's kind of like,
Yeah. And it's always like you got a tiger by the tail. It's going to turn around and bite you.
yeah, yeah, that's true.
That you're literally making a deal with the devil to have him fight with you. Which I suppose is why this is so like high stakes for Odin to send Baldur to confront Loki,
Hmm.
because he knows who Loki is. And he knows that he's going to likely betray him and betray the cause of good.
Yeah.
But Odin's so hard up for a great ally, he needs to send him anyway.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I think gives it kind of a lot of the drama of the issue. And the Malekith is so cruel to Baldur too. Ever the toothless understrapper of the nobility of Asgard. The years have not been kind to you, Baldur. You were handsome once. A spineless, overweight flunky. Ah, it's like so. He's just an asshole.
It's so funny. I was watching a Saturday Night Live sketch with Bill Murray where he played Hercules when he let himself go. And then he was like confronting his enemy, and then his enemy was like, Hercules, I don't mean to be rude, but you've really let yourself go. I feel it's the same type of mentality here. It's like Malekith, oh, I don't mean to be rude, Balder, but you really were good looking. You're really ugly now.
So, the mighty Hercules. I don't mean to be cruel, but you have really gone downhill.
I have not exercised much since the last Olympics, and I have learned to my sorrow that if you stop exercising, the muscle turns to fat.
Oh gosh, when did he take over X Factor? Wasn't it might have been around the same time.
Hmm.
Because he started drawing X Factor with like issue 5 or 6, and that was the mid '80s. And Balder's getting taunted to. He's just he's just tortured there. He wants to resist. He tries so hard to resist. It's nice how Simonson slows this page down too. I mean, there's 3, 7, 11 panels on this page. Forces us to take a little bit of time and kind of feel Baldur's dilemma.
Hmm.
So that when we get that final panel where the hand's reaching for the sword, uh, it feels kind of earned, you know? Feels like he's gone through a lot of like internal struggle. And like I suppose at the bottom there, when he essentially has to punch the demon to save himself, that's when he realizes he has no choice. And maybe that means to be an Asgardian, you do have to kill. You can't escape your true nature.
Yeah, maybe we need to speed up a little bit because I think we have some pages left.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Been dwelling. And then we go back to Thor. Cute little page here, right?
Yeah, yeah. Get your helmet on.
Carlson is really Spider-Man.
Mm.
And in the battle. I love this stuff. It's so powerful, so well done, right? That first panel with the sword kind of cutting everyone in half. The last panel with him jumping. It all looks so Kirby-esque in a good way.
I like his eye, like the panel 4. That's kind of cool. His panel 2 and 4.
Oh yeah,
He's
right?
amazed, and then he's like, "Okay, let's get into character."
To do it. And even there, he jumps like he wants to try and avoid it, and then he realizes, I gotta fight. You can tell how much I love this since I set these panels as my background.
It's a good one.
Played Balder, a very dramatic entrance. Like, what an asshole! Look at Loki's look at Loki's face in the last panel there.
They're drinking wine.
Uh-huh. And then Loki just throws out the letter from Odin. I don't care. Screw you. You're a fool.
And he tries to kill Loki.
Yeah. Yeah. The ultimate twist, right? By the way, I got a little worried there in panel 2. I thought he's gonna have a heart attack or something, I swear. Tries to
Cardiac
kill
arrest.
Loki. And then I love the way the ending comes. So he comes blazing through, kind of like the Norse warrior did in the previous issue.
Yeah.
And he's just so torn up, he just got to keep running and running. But now he knows he's going to be tortured. But then fuck Loki, man.
He doesn't. I actually didn't. When I read that previous page where he like cuts his head off, I didn't realize that's what happened. But he probably can't show it because this is a kid's comic book.
Yeah, it was a little confusing, right?
Yeah, it's not a. I thought that like Loki made his sword disappear or something.
I was confused by the hand on the side there too.
Yeah, it's like a tangent.
Yeah. It doesn't quite, yeah, I couldn't quite figure it out.
Yeah,
Like, why
probably.
is his,
Yeah,
go ahead.
I bet you he had some violent thing in there, and then they told him not to include it or something, or he wanted to, or he couldn't, or he didn't want to because there are kids reading this book.
It's weird how like panel 3 and 4, Loki almost walks off the screen, walks off the page.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna ask you. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
A couple of minutes after, now that this has ended, like we haven't talked about Mark Greenwald, who's the editor for this. Can you talk a little bit about him and like his history with Thor? Do you know anything about him bringing Walt Simonson on or his relationship with him? I know he was a good writer himself.
Yeah, Grunwald was like, he's a uber fan who turned pro at about 77 or 78. He put out these fanzines that were all about kind of trying to reconcile the Marvel universe, called Omniverse. And he was like the ultimate Marvel fan. And so when was he the editor of Thor at this point? I think he was, right?
He was, yeah. That's
And
why I
he's
brought him.
well known for being someone who just worked really well with the creators to help them
Mm.
to do work that was like meaningful to them, but also true like to the history of Marvel. Because Grunwald was also kind of the unofficial historian of Marvel Comics.
Mm.
And so like he's the one who kind of helped people pull pieces together So I really believe actually that you mentioned it, like he's the one who kind of helped, we probably helped Simonson kind of come up with this larger theme uh about Balder kind of having this pain from his death from before. He was really kind of, he's probably a force behind Simonson thinking this through.
Oh,
Grunwald
okay.
is a hugely beloved figure at Marvel too. He worked at Marvel till he died in, I think it was 1998,
Mm,
97 or 98, when Marvel was going through all their financial problems. And
mm-hmm,
it was a terrible time at Marvel. They were literally counting the staples in staplers and turning off the lights even when people were in the office to save every nickel and dime.
mm,
And when Grunwald died of a heart attack, I believe, it just completely crashed all the enthusiasm and excitement at the company. And
mm-hmm,
I mean, there was a brief moment there where Marvel could have gone out of business. And
mm,
Grunwald kind of symbolized like the growth and then the destruction of Marvel in its time period.
mm. So he must have led a lot of popular comics.
I mean, he wrote Captain America for 10 years or something. It's
Mm-hmm,
kind of Marvel's big main heroes guy,
mm.
remember right?
Oh, yeah. Cool. So,
I have no idea what happens in the next issue, by the way. I can't remember. I know I've read it probably more than once, but I have no idea what happens. So I'm looking forward to keeping going.